Hello, everybody. Welcome to the I Don't Know podcast. I am your host, Jordan Ford. And to the right of me is my co-host and co-worker.
Joshua Eubanks. What's up, my boys?
And it's been a minute.
That was cringe as hell.
It was, but it's okay. It's fine. We're nervous. I'm nervous. I can't say if he is.
It's been like 2 months.
Yeah. I was in my zone last time we were recording, and we were doing this consistently. And now I've been off my game. So this is gonna be different. I'm a little off. So please bear with me. Regardless, though, I appreciate you guys tuning into this one. We got a good one in store today, a pretty deep topic. So it's gonna get pretty serious later on, I'm sure, but it'll still be a good listen, I think. So today, before we get into that,
we got the album of the week behind us.
Yeah, album of the week. This is. Would you like to introduce it?
This is Swimming by Mac Miller from 2018. His last album before the posthumous releases that followed.
Yes. So, I believe, I'm trying to remember his discography. I believe this is it's either third or fourth. I think it's fourth. No, it's actually like fourth or fifth studio album. I can't remember because he has kids.
Well, it's hard because he's got a lot of mixtapes in between.
Yes, so it's hard to say because I'm not gonna sit and act like I'm just the biggest supporter of this guy's music. I listened to him a lot when I was younger. His music definitely appealed to me. Him being a rapper that was white, it was definitely in my thematic genre at the time. But then I fell off of him when I grew out of that, and then he eventually evolved and grew into his new sound. You started hearing bits and pieces of it as his albums came along, and this one right here was essentially I would say the magnum opus of it. This is probably, and I would say in my opinion, his greatest record. It's definitely my favorite. I know this one has the most replay value for me out of anything. So yeah, this is a good album. I'll just start it off there. Simply put, the instrumentals on this thing, beautiful. All of them are absolutely insane.
I think it's his 7th studio album.
7th?
Yeah, you have Kids, Blue Slide Park, Macadelic. I forgot what the album is that has the pink cover. I don't remember what it's called.
I don't either.
And then you have Watching Movies with My Clothes Off, or whatever that one was, from 2013. So that's like 6 or 7.
I feel like that. Sorry to cut you off, but I feel like that one right there was when some of the more melodic influences started seeping into his music. Because I think up until that point, most of his stuff was like strictly rap, and so a few songs, he gave way to some melodies on that one, and then by the time he got here, he almost essentially dropped being like purely a rapper, and he just was an artist. I mean, he wasn't, he didn't really. His music was really genre bending, even though you could fit it into like pop, hip hop. It wasn't like, it's not like anything else. It's very unique music, I think. So.
Yeah, and then Good AM was the one right before this. But if you can remember off the top of your head, what is your favorite song off this album?
So, I have a really basic answer. It's the God, Why can't I remember the name of it? The most popular one. What's it called? It's
Come on now.
you're trying to make me remember it, aren't you? You're not gonna give it to me. Because I can't. Hold on. No, stop. I think I got it. Hold on. I'm using my brain. Self-care.
Yep, the second.
Got it. Took me a second. Yeah, that's my favorite. It's probably right now the only one I still listen to regularly. That song still pops up in my playlist a lot. But I do remember listening to this all the way and liking it all. I didn't have really any issues with it. It's short. It's not very long. Like
I think it's like 39 minutes.
Yeah, it's relatively short for like a LP, and that does it well, because even though Mac Miller does have a very unique sound, a lot of the music on this doesn't sound too like thematically different. He doesn't stray away from that main style. It all essentially sounds the same. Not saying it's repetitive. It's not, all the music, is definitely, you can tell song by song, they all flow into each other nicely. But they are very thematically the same, which is good. We have albums coming out nowadays. Sorry to switch topics, but this is a good example for what I'm talking about. Like Pink Tape by Lil Uzi Vert, which I did like.
I know he wants to review that.
We do. I do for sure. But like that album where none of it is cohesive. It's just a mess. It's damn near not even an album. It is more of, a mixtape, but it got released as a full album, and it doesn't have a theme. It doesn't fit with anything. There's no cohesive narrative or anything thematically that's carrying on from one song to another. It's just a bunch of songs Uzi made in the basement, threw on a project. That doesn't make it any better or worse, because it fits him, I think, to do something like that. But,
Yeah, it does definitely give character to the album. I feel like if it had a theme, maybe it wouldn't have turned out as good as it did.
I agree.
And which is crazy to say from me, because in my opinion, Eternal Take is, of course I'm not going to say it's his best album. There's no way. But it's my favorite. And it flows very nicely from one song to the next.
I think it probably is his best. I'm gonna be honest with you. It depends. If you're taking it with the deluxe as well, which I include the deluxe. That's like 46 songs. Like, that's a lot of music. Okay, I think it's hard, because as an album, we're gonna get off of Uzi. I promise. We got to talk about this album at some point. But altogether, that album is like, the songs individually are good, but if you're gonna listen to it front to back, 46 songs straight, dude, you're gonna get tired of it. Uzi's not some groundbreaking revolutionary when it comes to music. So it's long as shit. So, but it's my favorite too. So
I personally don't count the deluxe, because really the deluxe is just an entirely other album.
Facts.
It's, I forgot which album it's the sequel to.
Love is Rage.
No.
It's not?
No.
Is it? It's Uzi Vert versus the World?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
2 or whatever. I don't fucking know. Dude, all his albums have sequels. All of them.
I really didn't like that as much. So when talking about Eternal Take, I'm just talking about those 26 songs or however long it was initially.
Yeah, but back on topic with this, this has, way more cohesion than something like that would, and I feel like it being shorter makes it way more more palatable as a full album front to back. And also each song on it is great. So, I like it a lot. It's a good one. I would say its biggest strength for me easily was the instrumentals. Like, easily. Because I love Mac Miller. Don't get me wrong. Love the guy. He's not that great of a singer. He's really not. I mean, he's okay. He's fine. He doesn't, have a lot of enthusiasm in his voice, especially at this point in his career. He wasn't, he didn't have the energy like he did when he was younger-ish. He was young when he passed, but he was like, he was trying to fit the vibe. It was a more mellowed out, more chill thing, and that does great with the instrumentals. But if separate it from that, which I don't see why you would, but in this case I am, it's not as strong without them, but it's not bad by any means. All together as a project, song by song and all together, great. I would personally give this album an 8. It's 8. It's a little too, for me, for my music taste personally, it's a little too melodramatic. Like, it's super like sad and really melodramatic wasn't the word I was looking. It is mellow, not melodramatic. That's not the word I was looking for. It's really chill, and that works in the
some of it is melodramatic though.
Yeah, some of it, yeah, definitely can be. But that and the fact that I don't think Mac Miller's that great of a lyricist personally. I don't think he's that good at metaphors and similes and things like that. That also knocks it down a few pegs from being perfect for me. But none of that matters, because you're not listening to this one, at least, for that. That's not the experience you're looking for. You're looking for something, I hate to use this term, but to smoke to, chill out, vibe.
I think with any Mac record, you're throwing that on just to vibe.
Yeah. Different vibes, of course, but vibing nonetheless.
Yeah.
Yeah. His older records made me want to drink Monster and do parkour and visit Rob Dyrdek's Fantasy Factory. That's the vibe I get from his old stuff, Kids.
Yeah, I mean, if I was listening to Kids, I would probably want to get crossfaded and just go do the world's dumbest shit.
Yeah. That's what the music was for. That's what I was when that was out. I was 12, younger, that's where I was at when that shit was coming out. I remember, this is crazy. I heard about who Mac Miller was from when it was either Ridiculousness or Fantasy Factory, which I think it was Fantasy Factory he was on first, and then Ridiculousness. That's how I found out who he was from his appearance on that.
I mean, I just knew of him because he was popular in the rap industry. But for me, I actually didn't start listening to him until after he passed. I was gifted this record for my birthday. I didn't buy it for me personally. But, I mean, I'm not mad at it. It was a good record.
Yeah, that's a good gift. That's fire. But yeah, great album by Mac. Number rating from you? What do you give it?
Yeah, I'll go with 8. I agree on that.
Yeah. And I don't think I've made it clear exactly what my number rating are in my mind. I don't know how you do it. Anything above a 7 is good. It just gets better and better and better till it's perfect with a 10. Anything under a 7 is mediocre. So from a 4 to a 6 is average, and then 3 down is below average to trash. That's about how I do my rating systems. It's kind of like school. A 7's a passing. it's good, but it's not. You know, there's a lot of things missing, a lot of things. But this one, I mean, stellar. You know, it was great, great things. R.I.P. Mac Miller, for sure.
Yeah. He definitely passed way too young.
Way too young. And that kind of segues into the sponsor of this.
We ain't got
That's
one
fucked
of those.
up.
I don't think
That's
we,
fucked up. I should have done
I mean,
that.
hopefully, maybe we will. But
I
if
wish.
if we could keep going on this tangent of not posting ever,
Yeah, these
I don't
hiatuses.
think we go and get there.
Probably not. But that really segues into our main topic of this video, which is just the alarming rate that most celebrities, specifically rappers, but celebrities in general, are passing away at such a young age due to preventable causes, I would say. Very preventable causes, things that I guess in the eyes of someone who follows them seems that it could have been prevented from the people in his camp or around them or him or her. But it didn't happen. So obviously, most recently, the main topic of discussion when it comes to this is Angus Cloud. He played a character named Fez in Euphoria. I didn't watch the show too much. That's my wife's favorite fucking show ever. It wasn't for me, but
I liked it.
I heard the story about this kid whenever the show was coming out. They kind of just like found him on the street. I'm calling him a kid. He was older than me. And I'm calling him a kid. He's like 5 or 6 years older than me, but it's okay. They found him, like, essentially, he wasn't an actor. He had no acting background, and they just picked him up and kind of threw him in this show, and he shined. He did great. He was actually probably my favorite character in the show from what I watched. I watched the entire first season with my wife, but I didn't retain a lot of it. But I watched the entire first season. His performance was great. It was genuine, because I know a lot of people like him. Like, I know a lot of people who are silently suffering from, addiction and having to make ends meet by doing things they really quite don't want to, but, are always trying to uplift the people around them. And according to what I heard about him, outside of acting, he was the same way. I'm not going to sugarcoat it or lie either. I also heard he wasn't too fun to be around when it came to acting either, because one, he didn't have an acting background, so he was harder to work with than the seasoned people there, like Zendaya and other people. And also he had a drug problem,
and I mean that's mainly probably the reason why he did so good for that role. Like, if you would have picked him for any other character in the show, would have flopped, because
honestly
there would be no relation for him to put himself into the character. But because he was so closely connected to what Fez in the show was going through in his real life, it worked for him.
Yeah, I mean, he was essentially playing himself. Like, I'm not saying that Angus was a drug dealer or anything. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
But in terms of personality, he really was that's just how he was. Very similar to the character in the show. Not exactly, but, similar enough, and with life experience and everything to make that character work really well. And that wasn't his only acting role. He did also play a part in a Juice WRLD music video. Cigarettes was the one, correct?
Yes.
Even though I believe there was no speaking in that. I think he
was just kind of there in the club.
Yeah, it was. I mean,
it was nice to see him.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. And sadly, there's a very large chance we probably won't see him in anything else. It's rumored that his parts for Euphoria have already been filmed. I don't know if that's true considering the writer's strike and all that. I don't know how true that is. It's all speculation, of course. But in my opinion, I could see them just canceling the show outright because I don't know if you've heard all the stuff that's going on with Euphoria. I only have because my wife loves the show. But Kat, the actor who played Kat, left.
Yeah, she's gone.
She left because of mistreatment, according to her, because of her weight or some shit. Then, what was it? I think it was the character who played Maddie, I think. I can't remember the names. I believe that she's something or other leaving the show or something related to
He's
it.
getting a call.
Should I go answer that?
Answer on the pod.
Oh my god, not again. I don't know who this is calling me. Hold on. Hello? Huh?
Sorry about that, folks.
I can't hear you. Hello? Hello?
Whatever.
Bruh. I don't even know who this is. They're getting put on mute. Anyway, sorry. I apologize so much.
That's okay.
That's what happens when you're live, man. We don't edit this shit, man. This shit all get edited, really.
They really don't.
Anyway, but yeah, a lot of stuff is happening behind the scenes with Euphoria, and I could definitely see them just canceling the show.
I mean, I would love to see where this season 3 would go, but you can't help things like that. Just
You can't, no.
if the production of the show doesn't have a good enough chemistry to go on, then if they tried to force it, it wouldn't be good anyway.
Yeah, I
Fly
Bruh.
in here. Okay.
I would really hope that they would not keep the show going, where it's suffering from the lack of the cast, and they wouldn't just try to bullshit its way through third season for money. Granted, that is very possible because we know how Hollywood is, but
And it did make a lot of money.
a lot. And I'm pretty sure that's Max's. It's not HBO Max anymore. Max's most popular show ever, most popular original ever, like, by far. I mean, it's so crazy now that more people know Zendaya from that than Spider-Man or Shake It Up or anything else that she's done. Most people know her from Euphoria now, which is crazy to me, but I digress. So there's a lot going on with that, and my condolences to the family and friends of Angus Cloud. Rest in peace, and all that. Also, before it is mentioned, if it is mentioned in the comments or anywhere else, I have no idea how he died, and nor do I want to speculate until there is undeniable proof of how he died. As of right now, as of this recording, there is not, correct?
No, I haven't seen. The only statement we've gotten from the family is that he passed a week after he buried his father. And so they're
That's awful.
Yeah, but they take condolence in knowing that he's like with him now.
Yeah.
From a religious aspect.
Right.
If you feel that way.
Yeah. So I'm not going to sit here and speculate and you know any of that. I'm not going to do that. He's dead. He's not here to defend himself. I refuse to do that. So I'm not going to. Now, I would like to shift the topic over to just kind of this is going to sound fucked up. Almost, which is crazy that I can even do this. Like a lightning round almost of just just all of the
You did.
young.
Given the topic, you did not need to use that phrase.
I know,
that
I know.
buzzword.
It was bad, but it's crazy that you can even say that though. That you can do that with the sheer amount of just people who have passed away due to just ridiculous circumstances.
There's a lot, definitely.
So I'm gonna go through, the obvious ones.
Well,
Kind of do, I guess, kind of a chronological order, I guess, sorta.
I would like to give my closing thoughts first.
Go ahead. Sorry.
They did mention that he struggled with mental health, and as he said, I don't want to speculate, and I'm not going to say that his passing was due to suicide. But if it was, it would make sense with the timing of
Definitely, yeah.
Everything going on in his life, I'm sure. Which, it's very sad to see somebody, make that decision.
Yeah, it's to anyone watching and to anyone suffering through that, it is never the answer. That is the absolute worst way to handle that situation, and there are so many other better alternatives to that, such as getting help, talking to family, friends, and just working on yourself and your mental health, because nothing else in this world is more important than you and your mind and your psyche, and you just got to pay attention to that stuff as someone who suffers through that kind of thing.
I mean,
so
we have probably, I would say, a lot more access to help resources than we ever have before.
Agreed.
I mean, 988, that is the number for the suicide hotline. Just literally, if you need help, just go on Google, search, suicide prevention resources. There are tons of things.
Yes.
That you can do.
And I hope we don't forget this. I'm gonna have to remind you when you get ready to post this, but we'll throw some links, down in the description of resources and things like that for help. So for anyone that is watching this and needs it, so check that out. If right now, whenever you need to, check those out if you need to. So, as I said, I wanted to start in like a chronological order, going down from as early as it affected me to now.
Yeah.
Obviously, the first, I would say, artist specifically that passed and that really like made me start thinking about this and started making it a reality to me was Lil Peep. When he passed in 2017, I believe, I really did not know who he was. I'm going to be 100% honest.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I followed him on Instagram because I'm going to be honest, I thought he looked cool. I just saw his Instagram videos and I was like, this guy looks dope. He has tattoos.
Yeah, Gus definitely was cool while he was here.
Yeah, and so I listened to Binge Truck. That was the only song by him I listened to. But at that time, my music taste was down the shitter, so I was not. The emo rap thing was not for me at the time. He passed, and the immediate outcry that he received from just, everybody. Lil Pump posted a R.I.P. Lil Peep thing, and when I realized how connected he was to all the artists I was listening to at the time, like Ski Mask, Slim God, and X, and all these other people, X not as much, but I started looking into him and him as a person, not to, quote X, but, when people pass away, that's when you check them out. Your morality is what makes you, decide to go look them up. That's exactly what happened to me, and I became a fan instantly. You know, his music is it's great. Not all great. I can sit here right now and just straight up, there are some Lil Peep songs I do not like at all.
But that's not necessarily the point of
No.
the topic.
No, and I could sit here all day, but we're not talking about that. I really want to talk about him more as an artist and a person. From what I heard and from what I knew, he was suffering from the mental issues / addiction since like fairly young. As far as like his high school years, before he even started making music. And like most artists, music was an outlet. He saw it as a way to express himself in the best way he could. It put him around a lot of people that he enjoyed hanging out with that also shared the same passion. And yeah.
And I think it's really sad what fentanyl is doing to people around the world.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, I agree.
They use it to cut drugs, make the high feel more intense so that you'll come back for more. But then these people don't know what they're doing, so they put too much in there.
Yeah.
It's like Lil Peep could have never known that Xan bar was going to be his last Xan bar.
Right. And quick unfun fact about Lil Peep, the show he was fixing to perform right before he passed was in Texas. It was in, I think, San Antonio. I think it was in Texas. That's all I remember. He passed away here, close to us, and that almost makes it like more real to me. Like it's weird that it can happen to anyone, anytime, anywhere. It doesn't matter. You're not fucking invincible because you're a celebrity. Anything can take you out. Even something as simple as a pill about this big ended the life of an amazing, talented young man. I don't exactly know how old he was when he passed. Do you know off the top of your head?
I believe he was 21. Like, just turned 21, basically.
He just became the legal drinking age. I'm not even 21 yet. And he passed. So, I mean,
yeah.
R.I.P. Lil Peep. What's his full name? I don't know it.
Gustav. I can't
you
remember
know his last name.
last name.
You don't know. I think it starts with A. It's like R something like that.
It's
R.I.P. Gus. You're a real one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
GBC 4L. You know what I'm saying?
And that's crazy though, because we're not gonna get into the Quedeca show today. Unfortunately, I'm sure y'all wanted to know what happened there.
Right.
But they didn't specifically say that he performed there, but the fact that people he was associated with, Lil Peep, performed at the same venue that we went to see Quedeca at was like, it's a little emotional for me, getting to be there.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's wild.
Because Goth Boy Click was there, and Wi-Fi's funeral had performed there before, and he was close to X too.
Which, I guess that also segues into the next artist. And this one really impacted me probably more than, I'm going to be honest, anyone else that we're going to discuss, because at the time, this was my favorite artist across all genres of music, period. I love XXXTentacion. Still do. I love all of his music. All of its. I don't dislike any of it. I would say besides posthumous releases, because we know how those can get. And we got to talk about that later, But, Jose Dwayne Onfroy the third, as he was named, he was a peculiar guy, because if you judge him based off of his past actions, things that he did basically before he was even an adult, because mind you, this man was 19, I believe, when he passed away, correct? He was only
I think he was 20 already.
Was he? It's okay. It's fine. He was young, regardless. It doesn't even. He was really young, really fucking young. Which is I'm either older or at the same age he was now.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me. I looked up to him. He inspired me to make music when I first started to make music, even though I made music before I knew of him, but he opened my eyes to the fact that rap or just music in general can be more than just, lyrical, spiritual bullshit and fucking, just there's more to it. There's more. There's feelings behind it. There's melodies. There's just so much, Just because you're a good rapper does not mean you're a good artist. That he showed me that. He, while also being a great rapper, you can tell he could rap for sure. He didn't display that all the time because he didn't have to, because his musical prowess lied in his melodies / his rawness and the feeling that he put into his music. And he evolved so much as an artist, as a person going on, and the things that this man could have done are just astronomical. The amount of talent there, the amount of collabs we didn't see, the amount of, just things we did not see that we were robbed of because of something so simple, so just stupid and material is really sad. And it really upsets me.
Yeah, I agree. To backpedal a little bit, because I didn't really get to talk about Peep as much as I was gonna, but
oh, my bad.
I didn't really know of him. Like, I wasn't into his music until after he passed as well, but I remember that I was there before Come Over When You're Sober Part 2 release, and I was highly anticipating that album to drop, because it was something that I could be there for, even with him being gone. But that was a pretty, real moment for me to have a connection with anticipating something that he released, even though he didn't release it. But I think out of most posthumous records that have been released, that one is one of my favorites in terms of the way it was handled. I think it was very true to what he would have wanted it to be if he got to release it himself. And I think that everything that they have done in terms of getting all of his SoundCloud stuff onto streaming services for people to enjoy, which I know that people look at that in kind of a sour taste, because they think, oh, you're just putting his old shit on streaming services so you can get money off of it. But really, I mean, it opens a lot of doors for new people, because people aren't going to go on SoundCloud and be like, all right, gotta listen to this guy's catalog on here, unless you're like a SoundCloud fan
or a huge fan of that person.
Yeah.
I can agree with what you said about that being one of the better posthumous records from these artists. It definitely is. It's definitely a lot better than X's posthumous catalog, which
Yeah.
I can't even begin to describe how angry, as a die-hard fan of that man, that makes me, that anyone would even consider greenlighting either of the albums that were released after he passed. Now,
And fuck Kanye,
yes,
because that True Love was the most ass song I have ever heard in my life.
there's so much I could say about that. But I do want to kind of do like a semi-quick review of the two posthumous tapes that X released, just real quick. The first one was Skins. I was anticipating this album before X died because he was
teasing it on his Instagram.
Yeah, he was making it. So the first red flag that I got from when the album was being rolled out was when they changed the album cover. The original cover was like yellow tape, like it was like taped, and it said Skins, something or another. It was a bunch of like caution tape.
Yeah.
And then when the album changed the covers and it was just like a picture of X that said Skins on it. The album cover is not bad by any means, but it's like you can tell when a posthumous record is being made because they will always put the artist on the cover directly. Every fucking time. Even if an artist does not put themselves on their covers. Like, X really didn't. 17-ish, like it was like collage.
Yeah.
And then question mark. No, like it was, you could barely tell if you were just looking at it. You'd have to look into the question mark to see the silhouettes of him in the question mark. Mm-hmm. Those are obviously artistically made to be that way. And he had a style of album cover. And Skins, the original, did not have him on there at all. It was literally just caution tape. And then they changed the album cover. Red flag number one. Then the album came out, and the entire album was a fucking red flag because one, it was just like short. It was really short. Like 4 of the songs weren't even mastered. They were just like recordings that someone recorded in another room of X singing to a guitar. Oh my gosh, fucking yeah, I don't know, dude.
Whatever that was.
Yeah, fucking. And it's just it's poor. Then we wait. I think Skins came out It came out the year he passed, or like the year after, very recent after, and then a year, maybe year and a half after, Bad Vibes Forever came out, and that album is what made me resent posthumous releases fucking tenfold. I don't support them, and it was because of that album. So first of all, there are features from artists who have never, not one time, ever shown interest in collaborating with X. People like Rick Ross, Joyner Lucas, and
I don't get it.
Things like that. Not saying there weren't good songs off of these albums. There were great songs off of these, songs that were finished before and not just either remixes, which they did a lot on Bad Vibes Forever, but unfinished songs that had a verse from another rapper added onto them.
I remember I'd walk home that day.
Yo, that song's gas.
If it would have never came out, I don't know.
I know that's actually one of my favorites. Same with Staring at the Sky is one of my favorite X songs. Same with the song Bad Vibes Forever with PNB Rock and Trippie Redd. Same with which this is like top 5 favorite X song, Limbo with Kill Station from Bad Vibes Forever. Yeah. Fucking fire. That song is good. But it's clearly unfinished. It still is, because X had like this much of a part on it. It was mainly Kill Station, which is fine. I love Kill Station, so. But that album solidified it for me and ruined posthumous releases for me, and gave me this kind of stigma, put the stigma in my brain around them, where I'm like, if the artist wasn't around, this does not count as a part of their discography. And I'm to this day, if they were not there to make it, that is not a part of their discography when you are talking about their lineage, because adding Skins and Bad Vibes Forever onto X's discography gives him 2 good albums, 2 bad albums. No, it's wrong to say. He had 2 good albums, and that's it. That was the end. There was no more.
I can understand what you're saying, and I'm not saying that I disagree.
Yep.
In terms of X's catalog, it was not handled very well at all. But I think, well, for one, with Mac, his Circles album, I personally haven't listened to all of it, or I've really only listened to a couple of songs. I kind of refuse to.
Yeah.
But I think it was received well.
I see that a lot. I see a lot of Mac fans very happy with it.
And in terms of Juice, I do like his I can't fucking speak. Posthumous albums. But I do feel like Bibby, if he wasn't as involved in the process, it would go smoother, because Max Lord knows what he's doing. But because of the label, Max Lord can't do what Juice wanted, even though he knows what Juice wanted. But there are songs that he can't get cleared to put on these albums, because the label is like, oh, all the Spotify fans are going to want the emo Juice. The mainstream is going to want the sad songs. But
they're not wrong.
But Juice, he had plans. He's got more than just that. And he had plans to make albums that were more than just that.
So I guess we will. I'm going to go ahead and segue into Juice. R.I.P. Joss Dwayne on for the 3rd. Love you, X. Whatever. That was fucked up. I'm so bad at handling these topics, because
we still got to bump 17 every time June 18th rolls around.
When it gets real, I'm turning on 17 when it gets real. When I'm, you know what I'm saying? I got to hear some of that. Oh, no, you're so... You know what I'm saying?
It's so crazy, though, the timeline in which he made his music.
Yes.
Because he literally went from making a bunch of SoundCloud songs that were all the same genre. It was just angry, rap.
Not all of them, but yeah, most of them.
Well, a lot, yeah. But then, right as he finished 17, he was already working on Question Mark, and it did not take long to finish. And it was a great album, one after the other.
Yep, 0 misses. So, Juice WRLD, probably one of, if not the most talented, just raw talent, raw talent-wise, the most talented rappers, artists that we have gotten in years. The insane fucking work ethic and the word I'm looking for, just output of this man. This man can make so much fucking music so fast, and it's all good. All of it's good. None of it's bad. He has not made a bad song ever.
X was talented, but he doesn't have thousands of songs in his catalog.
No, his music, his talent definitely, you know, and this is fine. It takes he takes longer, you know. He can't just hop in a booth and fucking record a fucking classic that's going to be played on the radio everywhere. Juice did that every time. That man did not write fucking anything he made. It was straight off the dome every fucking time, and he did not miss. Like, literally nothing. He has never made a bad song ever. So for him to have passed away so fucking early on in his career after only having two okay, correct me if I'm wrong. He only has 2 studio albums, right? Or is it only one? Is Death Race for Love the only studio album, or is
Goodbye and Good Riddance was his first studio.
Okay. Yeah. 2 studio albums, mind you, kind of similar to X. He did have a mixtape, which was it just called 999? Is that what it what was it called?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the very first one, which is this is not because I think it's the best. It's my favorite Juice project, but that's because it has most of my favorite songs on it. Like, most of the songs I listen to from him mainly are on that.
I don't know why it got taken off of streaming services. It was on there before.
Yes. A lot of those songs on there are fucking
like Moonlight,
classics.
Autograph.
Oh my God, Autograph. That is my favorite Juice WRLD song ever.
If they don't get a rental on this next album, everybody is going to be mad.
I don't think I've heard that song, to be honest. But anyway, Mr. Jared Higgins was a very, very talented man. And, you know,
what I would give to just be in the booth with him and Benny, probably.
Less Benny. Way less Benny.
Why?
He seems annoying. He gives off a bad vibe.
Well, I mean, I'm not Max Lord. He's a great producer, and I love that he, just gave all of his free time basically to Juice to help Juice do what he wanted to do. But I don't know. I feel like I would rather see his chemistry with Benny, given how much respect Benny gives to Juice still, even having only made a few songs with him.
Yeah, I see what you mean. He does definitely give his props to Juice, regularly touting that Juice WRLD was the most talented artist he's ever worked with, ever. And that man has worked with some fucking crazy talented artists. I mean, people like fucking, what's his name? The dude who can make like music out of anything and is like pitch perfect. What's his name?
Charlie Puth.
Yes, him. Super crazy talented. He's worked with, I think he said he worked with Lady Gaga before, I believe.
It's possible.
Yeah, just a bunch of people, a bunch of fucking crazy people. He's produced a bunch of songs that you probably didn't even know he produced. And for him to say that Juice was the most talented he had ever worked with, or one of the most, it's a great thing to hear. And I can see it because you watch any of this man's freestyles, he could just go off.
The Tim Westwood freestyle, bro.
Iconic. Literally, I would say fucking top 3 freestyles I've ever heard in my life. Ever. He is on par. And like, a lot of people don't want to have this discussion. A lot of people don't, but I'm going to say it. Juice WRLD, Eminem, 2 greatest freestylers ever, and it's not even close. Period.
Me personally, I haven't ever really heard Eminem freestyle, so I don't know. I know he used to battle rap back in the day.
So
that's what got him his fame, basically.
Let me tell you a fun little tidbit about Eminem.
It was a good day.
Eminem freestyled all of Rap God. The whole song. Front to back.
Yeah.
That right there automatically is crazy. That song has some of the craziest similes and bars and shit I've ever heard, and I've heard him freestyle a couple times. I'm gonna have to show you some.
I mean, the only freestyle that I've seen is that terrible BET one.
That's an awfully hot coffee pot. Oh my god. What's crazy though is even though that one thematically is bad, the rapping's still not bad. Like he was still like saying some pretty good like bars and But anyway, and Lil Wayne too. Lil Wayne's up there freestyling wise. Mm-hmm. Debatably better than Eminem. I don't know. They're probably neck and neck for me. But Lil Wayne is also up there because Lil Wayne does not write shit.
He don't.
And he's
sometimes he forgets that he even made his songs.
Bro literally he forgets his own bars and hears them and is like, I said that
was pretty good.
That shit was fire. But yeah, Juice. Crazy talented man. I'm
very blessed that I didn't get to see him in concert, but I was very excited when I got to see Cordae perform Doomsday. That was such a goated moment.
Jealous. I'm so jealous. That's crazy. I wish.
But I wish he would have done both parts. He had his like hype man do Juice for him.
Mid. But anyway, yeah, so Juice was talented, very talented. I have my opinions about his posthumous albums, and what I said earlier still stands, as in I don't count his 2 posthumous records as of right now as a part of his main catalog. Not discrediting either of them because they're both good, but I can say with full certainty that A, they would be different if he was around. They would not sound how they sound if he was still around. And B, you have to really try hard to fuck up a Juice WRLD album.
Yeah.
Like, you would have to sabotage it because that man does not make a bad song. He has so much music that you can literally just pick 10 of them bitches, throw a fucking picture of Juice on the cover, throw that bitch on Spotify, and it's going to fucking chart, and it's going to be widely panned as one of the fucking best albums of the year. Because that's just how he was. He was super talented. And so my point still stands. Because it's really not about if the albums are good. Well, it is, but it's really more of if I can't feel the artist in these albums, I don't get that connection. And Legends Never Die, like, it was almost there. But
I only had 2 grievances with that album. One, Hate the Other Side. Although it is a good song, Juice has no presence in it. He sung the chorus, and then they put 3 other artists on there. 2, Man of the Year, they replaced the original version that they had already put on there on Spotify. And they're just like, we're going to release this other version of the album.
For no reason.
And then rework the song.
For no reason. Because the original was just fine. Well, it's perfectly okay.
Yeah.
If not better. Yeah. And then his other posthumous tape, which is called, remind me the name.
Legends Never Die, which that is another problem that I have.
Well, hold on. Time out. What was the first posthumous album called?
No. Scratch what I just said. I'm stupid. Fighting Demons is the second one.
Yes. I have
that's
many problems
problem
with that one. Ooh, I have so much to say about that one.
I don't like that they named a song, that they named that album after they already used that name for a song they put on the last album.
Cringe. Also, one of the worst album covers I have ever seen in my life for any record, period, in the past 5-6 years. Holy shit. Who edited that? Throw them away.
Why does he a freaking sleep paralysis demon in the background?
Why does he have hooves? Is it a goat thing? Is that what they were going for? He's the goat. That's never worked. I've seen all the worst album covers I've seen have something to do with someone turning themselves into a goat, and it never working. Ever. It always looks bad, and it looked terrible on there. So get that the fuck out of here. Also, why? You know what? I'm gonna let you say it. You already know what I'm thinking. You know what I'm thinking, don't you? About the album. There's a certain presence on the album that it was a little weird.
I'm sorry, but Suga, why'd they put that man on there?
What fucking world do we live in where we get a posthumous, not just a regular Juice WRLD album, a posthumous Juice WRLD album with a member of BTS on it? If that does not scream cash grab, I don't know what else does. Like, you're going to get... Why? And it's like they went the extra step because they didn't have to say Suga of BTS because, one, any BTS fan knows who that is. And two, it's like they put it there so BTS would be attached to the song. Because if they would have just put Suga, no one's,
Yeah.
Now you can look up Juice WRLD BTS and that song is going to pop up. Period. You know what I'm saying? Or a behind the scenes of something. I don't know. Because, but yeah. But, and the crazy thing about both of those albums, they're both like a good 7, maybe 8. They're good. But you can tell that there's a lack of artistry, a lack of a presence from the artist. And that's the main point. That even kind of piggybacks, I'm going to do a little callback off of the AI thing we were talking about in one of our past episodes.
On the dog ass episode.
Yes. It defeats...
And hold on.
Go ahead.
Before you say that, I think if we would have waited to do that episode on that topic, like now... Because even in just 2 fucking months, AI has just somehow gotten a lot better than it was before.
All the fucking...
Like, we could do...
Oh my
if we
God.
did another episode and rehashed that topic, it would go way smoother than it did.
But the reason I brought that up was because even if the music sounds as good, with AI or with a posthumous release or anything... It's not, you're losing that connection. Me just knowing that it's not genuine, it wasn't, the artist was there and he was like, yeah, this one's going to be a good one on this tape. That loses it for me automatically, off rip. So, yeah, that's how I feel about that.
And that's one of the things that I had a problem about with Man of the Year, is that when they reworked the track, they didn't want Juice to say what he had written for the chorus originally, so they used AI, which AI in 2018 was not nearly as good as it is now. So
they did?
Yeah. Well, 2020.
I didn't know that.
If you go and listen to that song and you listen to the chorus, it is clearly not him. It's an AI. Because it's terrible.
Maybe I've never listened to the new version.
And I'm mad that they freaking got rid of the Buzz Lightyear verse.
That's crazy. That's wild. I didn't even know that. Wow. Unfun fact number 2 in this video. So, I think... I was trying to go in a chronological order, but I think I missed somebody. Someone really kind of big that, I can't believe I didn't discuss, and that was Pop Smoke. So, here's my thing about Pop Smoke.
I don't know enough about him to really...
When he died, I saw a TMZ post, and then I looked up his music, and I was like, this is awful. Please don't ever... I don't care. Like, I'm being so serious. I'm trying to be as front and as forward as possible. Well, then, quickly after he died, New York Drill became the primary genre of rap that was being replicated on all fronts. Everyone was bumping. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Things like that and all that. New York drill became the next big thing, essentially. And so I went back to Pop Smoke, and I don't know how my opinion changed. I don't know where I was mentally when I first listened to it was his first album I listened to. It was Here Comes the Woo, right? I listened to it, and I re-listened to it, and I was like, what the fuck was I on? This shit is hard. Like, I was like, this shit goes stupid. Like, I fell in love with the drums and the beat, the bass. It's just the I love that shit. It's hard. I love New York drill now, and I hate that's another situation where your morality makes you check out people, and then you find out you like them, and it, puts you on to a whole new thing that you're never going to get anymore.
Yeah.
And I would say, I don't know, you're not a huge fan of him, I'm assuming.
I really don't know anything about him besides how he died.
Yeah, he got people ran in his house and was
attempting. And another person that we forgot to mention was Nipsey Hussle.
R.I.P. Nip. I can't make.
I don't know anything about his.
No. If my opinion there, that's why I wasn't even going to bring him up. To be honest, is not there because I know nothing about Nipsey Hussle, like nothing at all. So I'm going to keep it as respectful as possible. R.I.P. Nip, legend in the game. You know what I'm saying? Pop Smoke. And I guess this is going to be kind of a hot take, but I'm going to say it now. He has the worst posthumous albums out of any of these people we have mentioned so far. One, because he did not have a lot of unreleased music. There was nothing to work with. They were pulling fucking strings, pulling shit out of their ass to make an album. Two, and this is famous, and this is crazy now, but Virgil, R.I.P. Virgil, made a album cover for his last posthumous album, I think it was God, I can't remember what it was called. He made an album cover for it, and that is the worst album cover I've ever seen in my life. That, like, the Juice WRLD one was bad. That one was fucking terrible.
You telling me my man Virgil Abloh can't make a album cover?
Obviously not, because that shit was ass. Love Virgil, R.I.P. You know what I'm saying? But that shit was terrible. They luckily
should've stuck to making watches.
Damn, he ain't sticking to making shit recently.
Sheesh. You have to say that.
But yeah. So they ended up changing the album cover and then releasing this album full of SoundCloud songs, full of SoundCloud music, just shit that was already out. Reworkings and remixes of his old music, and then hooks that he had recorded for features with just a bunch of random artists on it. Pop Smoke was done egregiously, way more egregiously than any other artist, fucking period, I think. And it sucks because he truly innovated an entire genre and sound when it comes to rap. He was the fucking forefront, and it honestly took his passing to do that because he wasn't as big around the world until he passed. People weren't peeping New York drill that much. Not saying it would have not have blown up, but it wasn't happening until he passed, unfortunately. That's usually how it happens. This episode's getting a little long, so I'm gonna go a little bit faster with more people. King Von, very sad what happened there.
R.I.P. to him.
Great artist, great storyteller when it comes to music. Obviously, that was like his key trait.
Yeah, another great storyteller, Speaker Knockers.
Yeah, Speaker Knockers. Damn, that's throwback. That's before all of these guys. Yeah. That's crazy. Speaker Knockers literally innovated melodic rap in general. Like, innovated, people do like Lil Tecca, and a lot of them were inspired by Speaker Knockers. Sad Frosty.
He passed way too quick.
Yeah, honestly, was a great artist, but he just never really popped off
Yeah,
too much.
I don't think we got to really see where he could have gone.
Yeah, his full potential was never truly realized, unfortunately, and he was still kind of sort of stuck in a bubble before he passed of that like SoundCloud-ish rap, and it sucks that we didn't get to see him evolve like his peer, his Quadeca did. Which sucks we didn't get to see that with him, but that's that's how it happens. It's quick. And any more you can think of off the top of your head?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't want to name anyone who passed, like, and I hate to say this, I'm not trying to like gatekeep this, like that's not what I'm trying to do, but this episode was mainly focused on artists who died young. So obviously RIP to people, who passed away. Like
if we wanted to go outside of the rap space, we definitely could do that.
Like
Kurt Cobain,
RIP.
And then just the 27 Club in general.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. And hey, when we sort of forgot, and one that really doesn't fit in, the young artist necessarily, but still died way too soon, MF Doom. Literally, probably the greatest lyricist ever. Some of the most unique and groundbreaking rap music ever to be made. And, one of the most mysterious people to ever make music died not too long ago. And we didn't even know until months after it happened. And we didn't just figure out how he died until a few weeks ago. The real reason came out, And that just speaks to what kind of person he was. He was a very private person, So, R.I.P. Meth, R.I.P. Speaker Knockers, X, Juice, Lil Peep, fucking Sad Frosty, Mac Miller, Angus Cloud.
And speaking of the fact that we mentioned Angus Cloud and he's not a musical artist, we have to pay respects to my boy Chadwick Boseman.
Fuck.
He really made Black Panther while dealing with stage 4 cancer.
He literally put a superhero that was not even well known on the map and gave black kids all around the fucking world someone to look up to and to aspire to through his acting. He was a great casting for that. He was great in the movie, and he was a great actor outside of that movie. I don't know if you've ever seen him in anything else. He's made some great movies, some great shit. And he was doing it all while battling a fucking terminal illness. R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. Fucking, you know what I'm saying? Wakanda forever.
Cameron Boyce was also way too young.
God damn, bro. You finna make me cry in this bitch. Damn. R.I.P. Cameron Boyce. Very talented. Very talented just in general. He could, do a lot more than acting. And, he honestly, I thought he was the coolest. Like, when I was a kid watching Jesse, I wanted to be Luke so bad.
Yes, sir.
He just fucking breakdanced for the hose. Like, that shit was clean as fuck. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You can't. It's goated. That's goated. R.I.P. Cameron Boyce.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
the
Obviously, there's
list
plenty.
Goes on.
There's plenty, but
kind of blanking right now, and the episode's going on a bit long.
This one's a little longer,
Which,
but
not that that's a bad thing. I mean, as long as we can keep the conversation flowing in a way that's like palatable,
right.
I think it can be a good thing for it to go on longer, as long as the listener is willing to stay. But
Right.
It's not necessarily like, oh, we have to stick to under an hour or else no one's gonna care anymore.
Do you know that number that called me earlier?
Yeah.
They just texted me and said Twisted Tea or Cayman Jack. They're trying to get fucked up, and I'm down. Fuck
Hey,
yeah.
yo, come on over.
Yeah, tell them to. They're about to pull up. Okay, hold up. Okay, I'll pull up. All right. Anyway, guys.
If Post Malone ends up being on drugs and dies, I'm gonna just jump off a cliff.
We didn't even mention that. We got to talk about that now.
Yeah,
We have to.
We said we would before that.
Yes, that
episode
was one of
started.
the topics that like inspired this. So, obviously, Post Malone just dropped another album.
Such a banger.
Spectacular, good, does not miss, beautiful, lovely, made me cry, fucking beautiful album. Okay.
It didn't miss, but I kind of felt by the time that it got to around Texas T, I kind of pulled away in terms of interest. Like the songs were still good, but it just felt like the pacing was off. Like he put so many bangers in the first half, and then towards the end, it just
He does that a lot, doesn't he? He does that because I could have swore on a 24 karat toothache he did the same thing. Like the first half was straight hits, and then like it started slowly going off the deep end, and not like bad, but like worse than the beginning. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He does that a lot, but
which I mean, for me, just I think it was just because the album was shorter,
yeah.
but I could sit through the whole thing on 12 karat toothache and still enjoy it. But
How you gonna let me just say the name wrong and not correct me? Fuck you
Sorry.
for that. You
It's
fake for
alright.
that one.
anyway, but on Austin, I don't know. Like I don't know what it is, but yeah, around when I get past Texas T, I'm kind of just like, yeah, I'm good. I could stop it here if I wanted.
Yeah, I feel that though. But the reason we bring up Post Malone is because an alarming amount of videos are coming out where he is showing certain signs of drug addiction and things of that nature. He's acting a little strange, and I hate to, judge based off of what I see, but I'm not trying to be that guy, but I've lived around drug addicts most of my life growing up, and even now, fucking work at Walmart. I see him every day. So when I see Post, doing the things he does on stage now, and just the way he's changed as a person, it's alarming. It really is. And I'm not going to sit here and say he's on drugs, he needs to stop doing drugs now. What I am going to say is I hope he's making the right decisions in his life, and I hope he realizes that his life is more important, or is very important, and that if he were to leave this earth early due to something related to that or anything at all, it would devastate a generation of music lovers, and especially his fans. So I hope whoever is around him and in his camp is making sure that he is staying healthy and making sure that he is doing good.
Well, I mean, I can understand the rumors based on how, like, we perceive things. But, I mean, I would hope that what he's telling us is his truth. Like,
Right.
he's saying that he's just on a weight loss journey and he's bettering his mental health. He's being more comfortable with himself than he ever has. And he's got, a committed relationship with a kid that he's trying to take care of while also dealing with the life of a pop star.
Right.
So things just may be different for his reality versus the way we're seeing it. But
Sure.
if things are really the way we see them, I would hope that he would get help, whatever he needs to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Love you posting. Comment under this if you see it. Please. I'd cry.
I just hope that the references he's making to drugs on his new album is purely musical related.
True. Anyway, do you have any closing statements you would like to make?
One last grievance on Juice WRLD.
Bro, it's
I have to say it because I didn't get to. One thing that I'm mad about is, first of all, Lil Bibby. What is wrong with him? First of all, Legends Never Die was not supposed to be the first posthumous album. It was supposed to be Party Never Ends. That
Facts.
didn't come out.
Facts.
And they were like, we're going to delay the album and also make it a different album to coincide with the release of this documentary that we're making, which is fine or whatever. But now the time has come that they have finally officially decided they're going to release The Party Never Ends. But we haven't gotten a date, a track list, anything. We've gotten fucking a few singles that sound like they shouldn't even be on an album called The Party Never Ends because they're not about partying.
Nah.
Good songs, but they don't fit the vibe.
Yeah, they tend to not add his songs that are strictly about drug use and, things relating to his death. They try to stray away from, even though...
Yeah, but he's got a lot of hype songs that aren't even related to any of that anyway.
And they don't add them either. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. They don't like a lot of his harder stuff
You
either.
Can't call it a party if everything is sad.
If I pulled up to a party, bro, and they was playing like Adele, it's not a party, bro.
I'm dipping.
It's a fucking AA meeting, dude. It's not even, you know what I'm saying? But, okay. I don't have much else to say. I said what I said.
My closing statements, I guess, would be just for anyone, including artists, if you're struggling with something, you find the right resources for you. I know things don't always help certain people. Like, some people will go to therapy, and therapy does not work. Some drugs do not work as well as other drugs do. In terms of antidepressants, we're not talking about shooting up heroin to relieve your problems.
Damn.
But, we just have way too many people who are struggling in silence and don't know how to do anything about it, which I think is mainly the problem. I think that, there's not enough awareness of what you can do. So people are just like, I'll just deal with it in the way that I know how, which is dependencies.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah. That's fucking some real shit. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning back into the podcast. We apologize for the long wait.
And we also apologize that this episode was a little sad, but sometimes that needs to happen.
Yes. These topics need to be discussed. These topics need to be ran through by somebody. Even though we're not the first persons to talk about them, obviously. But thank you guys so much for watching. As we said, there will be resources in the bottom. If you are suffering with anything, please check those out. We love all of you guys. We hope you guys stay safe. I have been your host, Jordan Ford, and I have been, with my homie, my boy, my co-host and co-worker,
Joshua Eubanks.
And we thank you guys for watching. Y'all have a good night. Thank you.
Peace.